Figment too. Like he's
all right. He's cute. I mean, I like him. Of course, I want him, but
it's like COVID Figment.
It's COVID Figment. He's all squishy and fat.
Yeah, he's out of shape. Everybody, happy Monday! It's podcast night. It's Ricky and I because Pam's in line to get a Figment bucket, and she's been in line since Tuesday.
Right. Exactly. They weren't even on sale on Tuesday, but she's been waiting in line since Tuesday.
Yeah, she's still there. She's apparently a touch track at this point. And Scott's apparently at he's by where the Fountain of Nations used to be.
Gotcha. That's good. Yeah.
So that's where we are at this point.
Exactly.
They are expected to get their buckets by March 3rd.
Yes, when the festival's over.
As long as
flower and garden kicks off that day.
Supplies, if supplies hold out, they will have a on a Figment button by March 3rd.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Monica. I am just back from Indy last night. Yes, Indianapolis Convention Center is where I spent my weekend for 5 minutes of cheer, 2.5 minutes on Saturday, 2.5 minutes on Sunday.
Yay.
Got back at 11:30 last night.
Ooh, yikes.
I know. Going late is the worst. Like we cheered at 5 o'clock on Saturday, 5 o'clock on Sunday, and then the awards didn't start till 7:30 last night.
Oh, God. That is late.
And then you had to bolt out after the awards.
Right, of course.
And then, of course, it snows. Like, it starts snowing out of nowhere all the way through the state of Illinois. But it doesn't snow. And once we get Missouri, no snow.
Of course.
Getting all slick and stuff on the way back. Yeah. Oh, hey, Mark, I hope you're sick. Oh, everybody's getting sick right now. So just chicken noodle soup and a blanket.
That's true. Chicken noodle soup. Hey. So.
Yeah. I'm getting my voice back. I feel a lot better than I did last week. My voice is coming back. I don't sound like Mike anymore, though, so I'm kind of sad about that.
Oh, that is sad.
Okay, so we're going to answer your listener questions. So we need questions. Please. If you have questions, put them in the live chat. We'd love to have some fresh ones. Have some semi-fresh ones in the inbox, but I would love very fresh ones. And we will get cracking here shortly. So hello to Monica, Margie, Dan, Sarah, and everybody else who's tuned in live who's not telling us what you're doing.
That's right, exactly.
Because I see we have lots of folks tuned in, but a lot of folks aren't telling us that they're here.
No, that they're here. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're driving. Doug Williams is in the chat. Oh my gosh, Doug Williams. He won the Super Bowl for the Washington football team way back in the 80s. MVP football quarterback. Maybe it's not the Doug Williams. Maybe.
No.
Oh, you know what? That is the Doug Williams, though. You know, our listener is the Doug Williams. But There was a Doug Williams who I remember cheering for in the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
Oh, but he's a runner. Look at his picture there. So he could probably outrun the other Doug Williams. That'd be probably a good race. Oh, Stephanie coming through on YouTube with a listener question. Thank you. Rhonda Long is here. Roll Tide, even though tough loss. Georgia was the better team that night.
Yes, they were.
Injuries caught up with the Tide. I mean,
okay. Got it. Gotta have an excuse.
No, that's not an excuse. That's a facts, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's the facts. I mean, and the thing is, if Alabama wins every year, I mean, it's going to be fun for everybody. It's
right.
Fun, right. I mean, it's so fun that everybody had to put on social media, Mark safe from hearing Roll Tide for the next week. I mean, that was so cute, right? Everybody had to put that. Yeah, that's so funny. Anyway, whatever. Rhonda gets it. Roll Tide, Rhonda. Hey, Alfred. Okay. Oh, Jacksonville. I bet you Jennifer's toes.
Oh, man.
The dog for a walk and it's freezing. Tim Wingfield will not be in the live chat tonight, I don't think, because he is on the Disney Magic sailing away right now, by the way. He's usually message. Steven's down at MISSISSIPPI. I don't know if it's Ole Miss or Miss State. Yeah, see. Run along. Yes. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you got to spread it every once in a while. Ashley's here. Yeah, there you go. Well, shout out. This is for your dogs. You're not really a dogs fan, are you?
No, Brian is more obviously than I am, but yeah, no, not really.
Enjoy your little party for 1 year.
Gotcha. Yeah, Brian's like more. I bought him at the grocery store. They had some of the
Kirby Smart beer, Kirby Smart water.
Yeah, they had some of the Georgia merchandise, so I bought him a like a beer mug or beer cup, whatever you want to call it. So
Cool.
yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Thanks for the questions. We got some questions coming in, so we are going to get some answers. Here we go.
All right.
Okay, that's out of here.
That was pretty.
That's the official. That's how you get ready for a podcast, people.
I'm not doing that. So
hey, shout out to Lizzie over in Wales. This is Mike and Sharks. Did you get it?
No. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I understood. It was stupid, but I got it. So.
Oh, Jennifer, I hope it's not freezing. It's cold, but I don't hope it's not freezing. If it is, just reboot.
Stop.
It's about 63 here in the studio, Fahrenheit right now. I had the fireplace on, but I turned it off because if I leave it on during the show, I can't get to it and it gets super hot. Okay.
It's 63 in your basement? That's freezing.
Well, I haven't come down here until just about 30 minutes ago. I know we keep the house cool.
Yeah, I know you do.
In our house.
Because you froze me out whenever I went over to your house.
It's like summer and winter. We like it cold in the summer and cold in the winter.
Yeah, you froze me out.
I wear hoodies all day.
No.
I dress like an athlete.
Yeah.
If a sport happens at any point, I'm ready to go. Like if Coach Saban comes in and like, Mike, I need you to do a workout. Like, dude, I don't have to change clothes. I got my sneakers on. I'm ready to roll.
Gotcha. There you go. You're good to go.
The dog's still moving. Okay, good. I see the dog moving. Okay, good.
Yeah. She's okay right now. I mean, we'll see. Brian's going to come home and take care of her.
Okay. Tell her not to bark, though.
I think her eyes are all big and maybe glassy, so maybe it is a good idea that we take her to the vet.
Dog's got a little extra ugly going on today.
No! No.
See if we can do something about that underbite when he takes her.
No. Actually, they're probably going to give her shots because I think I missed her, shots the last time. Whoops.
Okay, we got to do this for real. Okay, so the dog ate chocolate. Going to the vet here. Brian
on his way. Sorry if she starts barking when Brian gets home.
We may have to do a little pause there for just a second when hopefully the dog won't bark because maybe the chocolate will be a sedative.
No. Oh, Brian just got home.
Good. I haven't even hit recording, so I don't have to edit.
All right, good.
It's kind of less time.
Give me a second. Let me go talk to him for a minute. Hang on. I'll be right back.
All right. Sorry, everybody. We promised we were going to get going here in a second. So,
I like to not poison my dog, so I'll be right back.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't also left Reese's on the floor. Yeah, I know you didn't. She didn't. Brian did. So, yeah, apparently she got home from work and the dog had eaten a bunch of Reese's and the dog is little. So she's freaking out. So Brian's taking the dog to the vet. But I told her I've had dogs eat chocolate before and it didn't kill my dogs. But I mean, I don't know. I also have bigger dogs. Riley eats everything. So who knows? Yeah, Daisy's worth it. I know. So I'm sorry that we are delayed, but we'll just, Brian's going to grab the dog here and we'll get going. But what it's delaying is my Taco Bell eating here in a little bit. And let me just tell you a little inside while we're just waiting here, while it's just me doing a little monologue here. So once we finish the 2 shows, I edit those 2 shows immediately and upload them and get them all set for the week before I go to eat dinner on Mondays. And the thing is, I try to get to my Taco Bell by 7:15 Central because there is a distinct line. There's a distinct difference in getting to the Taco Bell between 7:15 and after. If you get there before 7:15, the line is not terrible. If you get there after 7:15, I don't know what it is. Like if there's a church event or if there's some kind of, if the community college has some big class that gets out right at 7:00 or something, and all the kids, it's a class on Taco Bell history or something, but it's 7:15 or after, that line is ridiculous at our Taco Bell by my house. There's a community college down the road. So that's why I'm always trying to hustle and get everybody moving here. But the dog now just ate Reese's today. So the dog is going to make me have to sit in a long line at the Taco Bell and listen to the basketball game tonight. So we'll see. I don't know if the Mexican pizza is coming back, but I did have a solid new beefy burrito melt thing coming home on the way last night in the middle of the night from Indiana, in some Mooresville, Indiana, I think it was. There you go. Go get some Taco Bell. That's right. That's what's for dinner. Ding. Ding. James J. making the run for the border. Yeah, we're doing listener questions, and then we're going to do, and Scott might join us for the second show. We are doing how to remember your trip. I have some ideas that I want to talk about, how to make your trip kind of last a bit longer. Dun, 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 dun. That's what I told her. The dog's gonna be fine. I mean, dogs need sweets every once in a while, right? I guess. No, we're not going to talk about the downfall of Bama football. I mean, seriously, it's not a bad year. They lost 2 games. And they beat Georgia. They beat the national champions. Just not, it's hard to win 2 in a row. But we won't talk about that right now. Yes, Diane, we'll talk about this. Yes, the pools at Disney are heated to 80 degrees. All of the pools. Now, remember, the air temperature tonight, I think, in Florida is going to be about 37. So the water is 80. It's wonderful when you're in the water. When you get out, whew, a little bit nippy. So you want to get to the room quickly. Come on, Ricky. Let's do a podcast. Yeah, the Patriots. I like Mac. Obviously, I like Mac Jones, but I'm not a big Patriots fan because they used to cheat the Rams. I'm sorry, but they did. And the Bills are kind of an upstart team. I like Josh Allen, so that wasn't a bad thing to see. That was I like Josh Allen. Seems like a good guy. And Buffalo is a small town. It seems like for the NFL teams, I kind of like to see them. So I think that'll be a tough game. The Chiefs and the Bills next week. I think that'll be a good game. Ricky's back, but her microphone's not on. I don't think. Yes, tighten up. We know why there, don't we? Certain running back in Nashville. And there's some certain good players in Philly. They're going to have their time. They lost, but they're going to have their time. They went up against the GOAT, and that was a tough matchup yesterday. But that squad in Philly is going to have their time. I'm just telling you, they got a pretty good quarterback and a pretty good receiver. Smitty.
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay, so we're going to wrap the football talk. Whoosh. We're doing Bama players around the NFL right now. Whoosh. We're going to stop. This segment was brought to you by Taco Bell. The new beefy Mexican melt. Oh, man. Nope. Now she's faking me out again.
Sorry. Bye, babe. Love you.
Love you too.
We're good.
I saw him, Brian, just so he knows.
Yeah, I know. He knows. Mike loves you too, Brian.
I love Brian. Yes, I love you.
He said, okay. He said, oh, okay, good. So, that's how he feels about you.
Fun.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, my God. Now I'm choking. Okay.
Don't die, Mike.
Okay, let's do this. Here we go.
All right, let's do it. Sorry about that.
Let's do episode 2025. We've been just sitting here chit-chatting about nothing in particular.
Right.
Okay.
You gonna beat yourself again?
Nope, I'm good. Okay, here we go. I got the cheerleading crud. I've been around 10,000 cheerleaders in a center for 48 hours. It's like, blah. Okay. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2025 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. And as always, thank you for dropping in for more of your listener questions. We do this each and every Wednesday. It is automatic. I mean, we are always there for your listener questions, and we appreciate you taking the time to either drop in live on Facebook or YouTube on Mondays as we record these podcasts, or to send in a question to Mike at BeOurGuestPodcast.com anytime you like. That works 24/7, no matter what time zone you're in, what continent you're on. It does not matter. We'll get to that question, hopefully. We've gotten to most of them over the years. Not all of them, but we've gotten to most of them over the years, and we love answering those questions. So again, if you have a question, Mike at BeOurGuestPodcast.com. Today, you get a Ricky and Mike show. That's all that showed up because Pam and Scott, we wanted to have both of them on the show, but they are still in line to get a Figment popcorn bucket right now. They got 6 days ago, and they say they'll have their bucket in hand by March 3rd. I don't know if they're going to put popcorn in it or if they're going to scalp it on eBay. I'm hoping not because they're good people. But you know what? Times being what they are, what are you going to do? If they However, if they go walking out with like 17 popcorn buckets, I'm going to kick both of them right in the knee. I'm just going to say that right now. So do it at their own risk. All right, joining me today, it just turned violent, but we have Ricky from the mouseforless.com. Do you not get enraged when you see those pictures online? These people just, I mean, it's like the world strongman competition with like 17 buckets on each arm. Like, because they used to have that show, where like the dudes from like Eastern Europe would carry the big weights. That's what it looks like nowadays. I don't know. Where are we at as a society?
I don't know. I agree. As someone who would like to have a Figment popcorn bucket, but definitely was not having someone wait 7 hours in line for me. I'm sad that I will probably not get one now. But I will not buy one on eBay. So I won't help out the eBay pirates, and I'll just be sad that I don't have one. And you know what? Let's put it this way. I suspect, now granted, I don't have any idea, I don't know any inside information, but like I suspect either there's going to be another shipment of these Figment buckets that come in before the end of the festival. Now it might be a while, but hopefully before the end of the festival we get another shipment in. Or if that's not something that's going to happen, I suspect this will not be the last time, the last festival, whatever, that we see this Figment popcorn bucket, or at least a similar Figment popcorn bucket. So you remember the craze for the Orange Bird sipper that happened a few years ago, and then the next year they put out another Orange Bird sipper. So I suspect we will see, if not for the end of this year's festival, probably for next year, another Figment popcorn bucket. Just my prediction. I
would love to see, this is just me being spiteful, and I don't care. Like like for popcorn buckets, I will buy one if I enjoy the look of it. And I've only bought a few over the years. I bought the white Christmas tree one that kind of looks like a ceramic Christmas tree.
Yes.
It's because I love ceramic Christmas trees, right? I buy the real ceramic Christmas trees like at, lobby or whatever, because my grandma had one. It's sentimental. So I bought one of those, not because it was like, going to be some value thing proposition, to sell on eBay or 5 years down the road. I'm not speculating on it. I just like the look of it. But the thing is, like, what I would like more than anything, again, this is just me being spiteful. I would love for like next week for this popcorn bucket to be available in like 37 stands around the property for like $10.
Agreed. I would like to see it available at across the entire festival. But I don't think that'll happen. But I'm hopeful that they'll have another shipment come in. But at the very least, trust me, I have a very good feeling about this. This will not be the last Figment popcorn bucket that they do. It just won't be, guaranteed. So.
But this is probably the last COVID version of Figment. It looks like it,
He does. He looks a little fat and chubby, and I think he's cute, though. I think he's cute. So
we all look kind of cute. I mean, we all got the COVID-19 going on.
The next Figment bucket may have a flower in his hand, or he may have a chef hat on for the next food, for the Food and Wine Festival, or next year, heck, they may bring him back out for the Festival of the Arts, and he may have like an art palette in his hand. I don't know. It won't be the same Figment, but they're gonna have another Figment popcorn bucket. I can almost guarantee that. So I don't know 100%, but I'm gonna guess that there's a
credit card in his hand, man, because he's raking in the dough.
That's why they're gonna have at least another, hopefully the same Figment popcorn bucket, but another one, in the future at the very least. So
you knew we had to go there, folks. You knew we had to go there.
He's got his credit card ready.
Before we get to the questions, we have lots of them lined up in the live chat. We got some in the inbox, but I wanted to just in case you were sleeping under a rock or you're really busy this past week, we have some new news. The Census spot, the Grand Floridian, is reopening soon. It's now it's not going to be called Census anymore.
No, it's not.
It's
the
just
Grand Floridian Spa.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean,
it's simple.
What it is. I mean, you can't really, it is what it is. It's the spa, the Grand Floridian.
Yes.
So that's going to
be not the spa, the Grand Floridian. Grand Floridian Spa. You got to get it right. Yeah.
I'm from Missouri. That's what I'm calling it. It's the spa that's there, But I mean, I get what you're saying. So that's going to be reopening, but bigger than that.
Bigger
news.
Yes.
This is big, even though it's still line. Pigment bucket, March 3rd, we might see her reemerge with a purple dragon in her hand that holds popped kernels of corn. But very soon, we're getting 3 restaurants back.
Yes.
Not 1, not 2, 3. We're getting Gico.
Yes.
What's the secondary thing they call the dining?
Cooking place.
Cooking place. I couldn't remember the adjective.
Yes.
Cooking place. Okay.
Nobody calls it Gico the cooking place. They literally just call it Gico.
Is it the meeting place? Is it the family place? The fireplace? I don't know. It's the cooking.
Yes, it's the fireplace.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have Gico coming back very soon. We have the flying fish on the boardwalk coming back, which is very exciting.
Yes.
And I can't remember the third restaurant.
The reason you can't remember the third restaurant is because it's a restaurant that hardly anybody goes to. Sorry, fans of this restaurant. My apologies. It's the Turf Club. So
Turf Club over Saratoga Springs.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't ever actually been there.
I think I have. No, you know what? I think I've only been to the counter service there.
Yeah, I've definitely done the counter service there. I've never eaten at the Turf Club. Although a while back, like a long time ago on Disney's website, they had this delicious looking chocolate cake thing that was on their website, and nobody knew where it was at. They were like, where is this chocolate cake thing at? But they figured out it was at the Turf Club, and that's the reason nobody knew where it was, because it was at the Turf Club.
Hide and seek, baby. Hide and seek. So, and also, some news that might affect your trip coming up. So these are all going to open within about the next month or so.
Yeah.
It's going to happen pretty soon. And buffets are coming back to Cape May Cafe.
Yes.
And the modified buffets over at Ale and Compass at breakfast, which is always a good thing.
I have to admit, Brian and I did the buffet, or not the buffet, the actual like family style meal at Cape May for breakfast. I know you did it too, right?
I did too, man. I felt like I was robbing them. It was a good deal.
I think that it works out better as a family style meal at Cape May for breakfast. And maybe not, dinner with the whole all you can eat fish delight, but which is coming back to. But I really liked the family style all you can eat breakfast. So I'm a little sad that they're going back to the buffet option there. But I mean, I understand why. I mean, they have the buffet in the middle of the room, so like I get why they're doing it. But I very much enjoyed the family style version of that. So sad that that's going away.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like as COVID had happened, modifications had to be put in place for a lot of different locations, a lot of different experiences. And I think that, we're going back to a lot of the old ways with things I can't even say as things kind of go back to normal, because obviously right now with the Omicron variant and everything, things are crazy. Hopefully we're getting to the peak of that. I'm hearing that maybe things will churn on that. Yeah. I'm sick of just saying normal, because who knows? Because it's always like right when you think you're getting, like, oh, we're past it. And then it's always, boop, there's the next thing. But like, I think we're getting new ideas. I mean, we got the character cavalcades, which I think will stick with us, even though we're going to get parades back. We'll have those as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I agree. Cape May Cafe was an improvement.
I did think so.
We're going to go back. So, but I mean, the thing is, there's going to be new restaurants. And I mean, you could take maybe a struggling restaurant and go with this kind of a format and maybe make it better. I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully Disney, obviously it's all about making as much money as possible. We know the Disney company.
Of course. And you can definitely make more at a buffet than you can with a, family style meal even. So, I get it. It's just, I very much enjoyed, I thought the food was not much better, but I definitely thought that it was a good way to handle breakfast there.
I did too. All right. Stephanie's got a question over on YouTube. She's tuned in live here. She says, hey, listener question. Thoughts on Princess Weekend? I got to say, I did look, and the half marathon is open today, but I'm not doing it. I'm just staying. I'm trying to save my money.
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to save my money. And there's a race I want to do the next weekend here in St. Louis. And it's like dirt cheap. It's like $50.
Nice.
So, and it's a half marathon. And it's actually the one I've run my PR on once before. It's flat as a pancake right here by the house. So we shall see. She says, though, staying at Coronado versus Riverside. I love both. It's a girls' weekend. I'm doing the challenge. Best friend is there. Our best friends, I guess, are there for fun. So Coronado versus Riverside for Princess. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. Royal guest rooms at Riverside. If you're really doing Princess Weekend, that's how you do it, because those are themed to princesses. That's kind of a great time to do it. You got the boat to Disney Springs. If you want to do some dining, some shopping, really kind of stay out of the theme parks because they're kind of hectic during Princess Weekend. That's a cool option, especially because you got good dining at Boat Rights. You could hop over, to French Quarter, grab some beignets. Nothing better than a beignet, man. Those things are so good. Scott actually brought me one when they were staying at Riverside because they bought too many, and I ate it at the Grand Floridian. That was so good. But yeah, Riverside would be awesome. But I mean, Coronado, again, we sing the praises all the time here. It just feels like a deluxe light, especially if you can get into the Grand Casino Tower. And the Grand Casino Tower is a great value still to this day, if you can get in there. The whole resort's fine. Even if you're outside the tower, I like those rooms, newly updated. Great feel to the whole place. Both of them are all buses. Both of them have multiple stops throughout the resort, so that's a wash. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Ricky?
I mean, we talked so much about how great Coronado was, just recently, and it really is, I think, a fantastic resort. But like you said, it is Princess Weekend, and so if you want to do the whole theme, you might want to consider those royal rooms. So it just depends. If you want kind of that plush upscale experience, then I would go with Coronado. But if you want like a completely themed experience, then I would do a royal room at Port Orleans.
All right, now live chat. Doug is saying, love direct bus from Coronado's to the races. He stayed there for Snoopy. That's right. I mean, you're really close to Epcot.
Yeah, that's true.
At Coronado. Riverside, though, you're really close too, though. I mean, think about it. You're right across there. So it's not that big of a difference because you got direct bus service from every Walt Disney World resort.
Yes.
Because I've stayed at both. Dan chimes in with that he's Three Bridges is a solid dining option.
It is.
Yeah, everybody says that. I've still not been there.
I haven't been there either, but everything I've seen from there, it looks fantastic. So, yeah. And I know Pam raves about it.
Yeah, Pam raves about it a lot. Let's see. Alfred saying, do you think that Disney should limit popcorn buckets?
They did, technically.
People buy them for them. Basically, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely did have a limit of popcorn buckets to 2 per person. But, there are ways around that. So it's 2 per person per transaction. So, you can still get back in line or have multiple people with you or whatever. So, but it really was 2 per person. So.
I just texted Pam and Scott. They are each buying 2.
Yes, there you go.
They're going to have them and popcorn in their buckets. Olivia is in our live chat. Hello, Mike and Ricky. What are the pros and cons of going to Disney in mid to late January at a non-marathon, non-MLK time?
Gotcha.
Okay, pros. Okay, so if you stay away from MLK weekend, which is a nut house sometimes. I haven't looked at it this year. I don't think it's as bad as normal.
I've seen a few things say that it's been busy, but it's always busy on 3-day weekends. So, but it doesn't look like it's like obscene. So I don't know. It didn't look like it was.
Well, okay, so let's give pros. Give me a pro for January.
I mean, the weather is usually pretty decent, although sometimes, just a heads up, sometimes it does get chilly. Like I know right now, it is kind of chilly down in Orlando
to make their opening warming centers in Florida, it's going to get down to like 38.
Yeah. So I mean, it can get chilly, but I've always had really nice weather in the afternoons when I'm there, and it's not like blistering hot. So that's one of the big positives of going in January, late January. Usually, that's what I was thinking about actually going for the Festival of the Arts. I was thinking of going at the end of January, but now I think I'm going to go at the beginning of February. So, but still, same time period, just about it. So the weather's gorgeous, I have to say. Weather's gorgeous.
Yeah, typically it is good. And also Festival of the Arts, you just mentioned, great time to visit.
Yes.
Cons, though, shorter park hours.
Yeah.
You're also likely to hit more like attraction refurbishments than other times of the year and you're also going to have one water park down every year. Right now it's Blizzard Beach that's down, and Typhoon Lagoon's closed because it's just been cold the last couple days. But trying to think other than that, I mean, you're not going to have like a lot of extra events going on this time of year because it's typically the slower time of the year. But again, with shorter park hours but less people, if you avoid the busier weekends, you're going to get more done in less time, so it all washes out. And it's more enjoyable because you're not in the heat, you're not in the crowds, and I would take that any day of the week.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
All right. Ashley says, ADR date coming up, Topolino's breakfast or dinner.
That's tough. I've only done it for breakfast. So, I mean, I thought the breakfast was fantastic. So... And it's character breakfast. I mean, granted, it's not the same way that they used to do it. It's kind of the drive-by character, greeting.
It was character dinner when I went, too.
Oh, was it?
I mean, I ate with Scott. But.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, I thought they only had character breakfast.
People, it's not a character dinner.
It's not a character, yeah. But I do know that the breakfast is a little pricey, but I will say, if you ask, I've heard they can get you more than one entree. So, that's an option too. I mean, you have to be nice and ask, but, sometimes they'll do that for you. Again, I really, really enjoyed breakfast when I was there. But I know you actually really enjoyed your dinner too. So, you thought it was one of the nicest dinners you've been to, right? I think, Mike?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I've been reflecting on this dinner for quite a while. Well, since I've had the dinners for about a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really enjoyed how fancy the restaurant was. Like, you cannot deny being on top of Riviera, the view. I mean, we were there during Harmonious, and you can definitely see from our table now. This was not standing up. This was not going outside. This was sitting on our rears at our table, and we didn't even have like a window seat. We were like towards the restaurant. We saw down into World Showcase Lagoon. We saw the whole octopus thing with the screens. We saw everything happening. We saw like a big 360 view of the fireworks. It was incredible. Yeah. And I'm not even a big Harmonious fan. Now, we could have heard the music if we'd have gone outside. They didn't play the music. But, so that was amazing. The food was really, really good. But I mean, the thing is, I am the wrong audience for fancy food because I didn't know what to get. Like, I'm not going to get the fish because I'm scared it's going to be a fish that comes out with like its head on it. Like, that freaks me out. Like, that happened to me one time when I was a kid. Like, I was like 12 and I was like, eating out with my friends, like grandparents. I was with them and I ordered fish thinking it was going to be like fish sticks or something. I can't remember, some restaurant up at Village Square, Ricky, up 270 in Limburg. And like, I can't remember. It was like, I don't know, Po Folks or something. I can't remember. They brought the fish out and it was looking at me, and I'm still scarred to this day because of that. So like, unless I know it's like what kind of fish it's going to be, like I will not order it at a fancy place because I know sometimes they get fancy and that thing will be looking at you. So anyway, can't get the fish. It was some kind of like sea bass or something. So I knew like that sounds like it could be like looking at me. So I got the pasta. I'm like, pasta's not gonna be looking at me, and I just ran a marathon. Pasta's good, safe bet. So, but the thing is, like, the pasta was really good. But I mean, pasta's pasta. It was a little fancy looking and everything, but it was like real expensive pasta, and it tasted good. And I mean, I had a nice salad and stuff. It's really expensive, but what you're paying for is that fancy environment. You're paying for, the date night, the whole. It's not just the food, right? It's the entire experience. So if you're going for the entire experience, you want to have some kind of a celebration, some kind of a really special meal. Topolino's is the way to go. I like dinner there. But if you're going for like pictures with the kids and stuff, breakfast is the way to go. But I would, Topolino's would not be a place I would go all the time because I don't eat fancy all the time. But if I wanted to like impress somebody for like a special occasion, Topolino's, because it does, when you walk in, you just feel like, ooh, fancy when you walk in. And that's just me though. I don't know how.
So I will say they do have, this is what I was worried about for breakfast though. They do have it back now, the wood-fired butcher steak, which is what I had. That was so good. I mean, that to me, if you're going to go for breakfast, that's what you get. You get the steak for breakfast. It was fantastic. It's well worth the money, I think, at that point. So if you're going to get the steak, I would go for breakfast because it was so good. It was so good.
All righty. Diane's got a question. Says, need to get away from New England. Don't we all this time of year? Are the pools on Disney property heated or only select ones at select resorts? Good news. All the pools at Walt Disney World are heated to 80 degrees. So when you're in that pool, you are feeling great. However, we just mentioned this in this time of the year. Tonight, I saw down at Walt Disney World, the low is going to be in the upper 30s. So if you are staying on the backside of the 90s at Pop Century, while it feels good in that water,
it's not going to feel any good when you get out.
All of a sudden, your body is still wet, and it is 36 degrees, and you are all of a sudden doing the skitty scoo to the room, and you're like, what? How fast? You're like scampering. You're like on those. You got your little, Adidas flip flops on, and the thing is, your feet are wet, and your feet are slipping out of the. Thing is, like all of a sudden you thought you were incapable of a 8-minute mile.
You can do an 8-minute mile at that point,
dude. 7:30 back to the room if you're that cold. I'm telling you what, man, it's no joke. So I'm just saying, you can totally swim any time of the year. It's wonderful, but maybe bring like a bunch of towels and a bunch of stuff.
Maybe like a robe. I don't know. Just bring a big fuzzy blanket. I don't care, but just bring something to keep yourself warm.
It's cool. It's fine. I mean, just saying though, but be prepared because it's cold when you get out of the water. Sometimes, just a few nights of the year, but I've been there because I've told the story 100 times. Pam made me get in and swim with Paige one time, one of our first trips. I was still trying to catch her, and I did it. But man, it's a wonder I didn't die of pneumonia that night because it was All-Star Sports. Just saying. Robert is in here. He says, "Hey, Mike, thanks again for making me feel so welcome in the Lizards group last week." Robert, thanks for running with us, and thanks for being a part of the Lizards.
Yeah.
And shout out to all the Lizards, and thanks to everybody who's been posting all the pictures and all the kind memories. We're going to talk about that a little bit more on Friday, about documenting the trip once you get back. But it was really, really a special dopey challenge for me this past time, and it just goes on seeing all the posts on social media. So Robert and everybody, thanks for being a part of this whole thing. It's amazing that we have such a great group. It's just it's so awesome. So awesome. All right, Rhonda's got a question here. Down in Alabama, Roll Tide. Can visitors not staying at your resort visit your resort? The pool, more specifically. We had it until the last part.
Yep.
Yeah. They can visit your resort totally. They can come see you, but pools are for resort guests only.
Yes.
Especially if you're at beach and yacht.
Right, exactly.
Any pool, though, that's the rule. I mean, so, yeah. You can only swim at your hotel pool unless you're at here. There are some exceptions. If you're a DVC member, you're allowed to pool hop. If you're staying on,
except right now, I don't think you are right now. I don't think any pool hopping is allowed right now. Really, yeah.
If you're staying at Riverside or French Quarter, you're allowed to go back and forth. That is
well, yes.
Okay, Rob's got a question. Are any of the evening spectacular packages actually worth it? So basically, I guess we're talking about like fireworks.
I would assume so. I'm gonna say I think that the one for the Magic Kingdom, the dessert package, I think that one is probably worth it. Now, I don't know if the one where you actually like sit down and get a spot is necessarily worth it for the fireworks. I think the one that's worth it is going to be the one that gives you the option to go see the fireworks in the hub and then go back, either have dessert before or have dessert after. I think that one is a better option overall because you get to see the fireworks from the view that, is more intended. I've seen the fireworks from the view where they have the fireworks dessert party. Actually, that was Brian and my secret spot before they started offering dessert parties to watch the fireworks. It's an okay view from that spot. So I would go with the one where they let you in the hub grass and see it there. I think that, and it's cheaper too, which is kind of nice. So I would go with that one for sure if you're debating a fireworks dessert or any kind of fireworks, option like that. That's me.
So again, here's me on these things. So I do love the fireworks dessert parties because I love some desserts. I mean, every night before I go to bed, I have me a little Debbie something or other, a zebra cake or, a Swiss roll or something like that. Yes. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, Christmas trees. I destroyed those for a couple months. They're all gone. But the thing is, I've only done them as guests of either Disney or Pam Forrester in the travel agency. I get that. Everything tastes better when somebody else is paying the bill. I'm cheap, so I don't pay for these things. What I do is when I'm on my own dime, I don't mind like staking out a spot for the fireworks. And the thing is, I roll my own dessert party like at the studios back when they had like the Star Wars fireworks. Yeah. Or they did Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam at Christmas time. I would just roll over to the Tune-In Lounge. And I can't do this right now because they're not serving these to go PB&J shakes right now. They are not, because Ben Lappin tried to get me one.
Okay.
He actually, listen to this. This is what a cool guy Ben Lappin is. Let me just tangent here. One of our great agents over at the Magic for Less. If you're working for with Ben Lappin, you're a lucky person. Here's the deal. He was being a nice guy at the studios. We were there the same day. He wanted to hook me up with a PB&J shake. Went to Tune-In Lounge. They're not doing to-go PB&J shakes. He got a table. Somehow he weaseled him. I don't know how he got into the restaurant. He got a table for himself and his wife.
Of course he did.
Down, and they just ordered dessert so that they could order a bonus shake. And they left with me a shake. So I got a shake.
That sounds like a Ben Lappin thing. Of all things, like that sounds like him. Yeah.
So we sat there and had a shake together outside of the Tune-In Lounge.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. It was the best shake ever. Oh my gosh, PB&J shakes. But anyway, back to the question. I roll my own dessert party on the fly. Under normal circumstances, I just go get a dessert somewhere nearby, whether I'm at the Magic Kingdom, I go to the Plaza, get me an ice cream, then to stake out a spot. Boom. I mean, I don't have a buffet of desserts, but I have an all-American sundae or like an ice cream sandwich in my hand. Well, good enough. I mean, it's close enough. And you know what? It's like $8.
True. I just, you know me, I don't love to be surrounded by a sea of humanity for fireworks. So like if and which is partially why I don't like watch fireworks very often, because I don't want to be surrounded by the sea of humanity. And that was before COVID. So, but that's why I think that this works better, because then you at least, that you're not going to be totally surrounded. You've got a spot to kind of like breathe and have space, I feel like, even in the hubgrass area. So that's why I personally now I think I would go for a dessert party. I would not necessarily do a dining package for Harmonious though. I think that since it's such a big space to see Harmonious with, I feel like you can have a great view and not have to roll up hours ahead of time to get that great view. So I wouldn't necessarily do it for Harmonious.
Unless you're a huge fan of it. Like we did it for one of the very, very last Illuminations, and it was awesome at Wrecking Crown, but it was because it was Illuminations. Like
absolutely. Yeah, of course.
From the best, but you're right, and it wasn't, is prominent viewing. Okay.
Yeah.
Megan's got a question here. What's the buzz around Mears, specifically the express service? So I will say, while I was down there, I mean, the thing is, they just reskinned all the buses. I mean, obviously Mears ran Magical Express, so it's not a big difference. It's a name change.
Right.
You're paying the bill instead of Disney paying the bill. They're giving you a couple more options. But I mean, I'm telling you what, the drivers have on the exact same uniform. I mean, when they get off the bus or load you onto the bus, it's the exact same procedure. I was watching when I was waiting for my Uber.
Yeah.
There's not much difference. I mean, the signage is almost in the exact same spots at MCO that just says airport shuttle instead of Disney's Magical Express. And I mean, here's the thing. I'm not hearing any howls at all. I mean, it's just like nothing has changed to me. And I have guests using it. I mean, everybody's using it and it's fine.
I mean, I heard a few hiccups, at first, but I think, again, you're always going to have like a few hiccups when you roll over from one system to the other, just because you're taking it on yourself. So I feel like there were definitely bound to be a few hiccups, but I think, so far it's going relatively well. And it'll be an interesting way of seeing how, there's so many different options now to get to the Walt Disney World Resort. So, you've got the other option, which is the flyer, Sunshine Flyer, something like that. That's it.
Train.
Yeah, the one that looks like a train. So that's coming soon, or if it hasn't already rolled out by today.
I think it starts in February.
Okay. So anyway, you'll have a few options with that too, but I think the express service is, I think it's gonna be a fine option for you. Although I did see, I'm not sharing like rumors or anything like that, but I did see an image online of minivans.
Oh no! You don't even know. In Marathon Weekend, Disney flexed, so they used minivans for barricades to get people where they needed. There were 100 minivans.
That's why.
Butt to butt, like to get like where you walked into the races. There were 100 minivans.
Okay.
I mean, they were everywhere. They were everywhere. Like everybody thought the minivans were like, nope. There were like 100 minivans, like just lined up, just boom, boom, boom. They were it was like a wall, but the wall.
That's why they were using them as a wall. Oh my gosh.
Totally. It was a barricade at Marathon Weekend, the warm-up area.
Oh, that's even worse. Hey, we've got these really awesome cars. We're just going to use them as a barricade.
Look at it. I mean, it was a nice little red and polka dot wall. But it's like, I remember I walked up for the 5K and I forgot who I was walking with. I was walking with Scott, I think. And I'm like, well, hot dang, there's where the minivans are. Right? I mean, there were 3 of them. It was like 100 of them. I'm like, well, remember when we were talking on the podcast like a year ago? We're saying, I think they're at a car dealership in North Carolina.
Yeah, exactly.
We're wrong on that one.
Definitely. Well, that's good to know. I mean, I'm glad to know they still have the cars, but I mean, sad to know that they're only using them now as like barriers instead of actual cars. So that's good.
It was sad. I was just like, well, that's funny. Disney's fun. Like you thought you knew what we were doing in the minivan, so okay, here's 100 of them. We're gonna use them for a wall, sucker. Yep. Okay. Just got a question here in the live chat. I know the Magic for Less partners with someone for transfer service, but we're a family of 6. And most likely grandparents will be with us too. What's the best way for private transfers that are cheapest but unsure. Also, any updates on when Space 220 will open? We hear it'll open in the next year. No.
Yeah, it's going to open soon, I promise. It's already
there.
open.
You can get it. It's just got to get an ADR now.
Yeah, you just got to get the ADR, yeah.
But it is open. It's not just a myth. Okay, so I've gotten, because again, I monitor this stuff. 2 companies that I'm recommending currently with the Magic for Less, HappyLimo.com and Tiffany Town Car. Both right now are giving great service for my guests. I ask everybody as soon as they get back, and I'm getting only good feedback from my guests as far as rates, driver friendliness, and also the vehicles, the options for vehicles, limos, vans, bus, like microbuses, kind of stuff. Not microbuses, kind of like a VW microbus, not like Fillmore from cars or anything. It's like those like church vans kind of thing.
Yes.
They have the options. I mean, you're going to get there safely. You get to pick your vehicle, which is kind of fun. We actually did a party bus one time going to the port. We had this like, it wasn't like a full-on school bus, but it held like 12 people. Had like a disco ball in it in the middle and had a sound system. Dude, we were rocking it. So you can get one of those.
There you go.
All right, let's see here. Liana's got a question. Any news on whether Trattoria Alforno is going back to character dining? I booked it, and a couple days later, they said it wasn't going to be a character breakfast anymore. Any news?
No, I haven't heard anything about that restaurant, offering character dining. And honestly, I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. Cause those were, princesses. And so it's kind of a tight space. So I think it's a little bit harder for them to do like meet and greets, or obviously they're not doing like the traditional meet and greets, so like I think it's a little bit harder for them to do like the drive-by meet and greets that they're doing right now in that location. So I think it's probably going to be a while before that one comes back as a character option.
Yep. Yeah. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'll tell you what, though, Trattoria Alforno is a good restaurant. I like this restaurant. It's a dinner there. Again, I had the lasagna over Marathon weekend. It was this was kind of different though. It doesn't feel it's not as fancy as Trattoria Alforno. The prices aren't as high, and the food is just as good. I mean, lasagna. I mean, pasta's pasta to me.
Right.
It was really good pasta, and it was like a 3D looking like a flower kind of thing. It was almost too weird looking, but it tasted great.
It was weird. I agree. It was definitely like really pretty because I saw the picture that you posted, and I'm like, what is that? So I guess when you can't tell what it is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It definitely didn't look like a lasagna.
No, because it came out and I must have looked at it weird, and the waiter's like, it's supposed to look like flour. I was like, I see it. No, I see it. I'm like, is this lasagna still? He's like, oh yeah, taste it. He's like, it's lasagna. He's like,
see, I guess if you're trying to fancy it up that much, maybe you haven't done something wrong. I'm just saying.
He's like, that dude's from Missouri, man. I got to tell him what that is.
I got to tell him that's lasagna.
He's confused. He is told like lasagna is supposed to be like in little squares, like red sauce on the top. But it tasted really, really good. Kathy says, is there Disney transportation from the resorts to the cruise ports and then from the ports to MCO? Correct. Yes. So it's almost like Magical Express, but you got to pay for it. So the way it works is you can add on, they're called Disney Cruise Line transfers, and they're via big motor coaches. You've probably seen them at Walt Disney World there. They just look like Magical Express buses, except they got portholes. And you don't always get one of those buses, by the way. You might get one that just looks normal. I know it's always a bummer when you don't get the one that looks like with the portholes, but you do most of the time. But they're $39 per person per way. And it's either from the Walt Disney World Resort to Port Canaveral or from MCO to Port Canaveral and the other way around. So it's $39 a person per way, and they're easy to add on up to 7 days prior to your cruise. All right, let us hit one more question from the inbox, shall we? And this is a Dogs fan. It's from Faison. He says, hey there, do y'all have any recommendations on how to handle the Pacific to Eastern time zone change when traveling with a toddler? We'd like to keep her as close to her normal schedule as possible, but don't know the best way to do this. Should we rip off the Band-Aid and operate completely in the new time zone, or should we ease it in over a few days? For your information, we'll be in Orlando for 2 weeks. We're also thinking that the time zone difference would work in our favor for the first night or two so that we can view the fireworks while still being on Pacific time. Any thoughts? Go Dogs, go Hawks, go M's, go Kraken, and bring back the Sonics. Thank you, Basin. And by the way, my dad did the radio broadcast for the Seattle Kraken going back to Seattle just the other night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you listen to the Kraken on the radio in Seattle, my dad was pushing the buttons there. He had to fill in.
Nicely done.
It was the first game ever in St. Louis. They didn't have a radio engineer, so they had to call my dad. So
there you go.
Let's see here. So yeah, you know what? I've never traveled that many time zones, but
I have
the time zone swapping. You don't have a toddler, but what do you say?
And I will say it can be a challenge even for the adults. So it's definitely because I've obviously done it the opposite way, where I've gone to the West Coast from the East Coast, and that can be rough because you definitely want to go to bed a lot earlier. And I've done it from, here. Now, granted, I went over to England and stuff like that, so that's a lot further. When I did that kind of like a red eye thing and made sure that, I stayed up the rest of the day and then went to bed, with the regular London time. As far as going from California to, Florida, I would, if you're going to be there for 2 weeks, I understand wanting to like get her on, your normal, keep her on a normal schedule. Was it him? I don't remember.
Okay. I would ease
into it as well. Yeah. Like I do like 1 hour and then I do like, another hour and then, like I would ease into it as well. Like I said, it can be difficult for adults. So I can only imagine how difficult it could be for a toddler. So I wouldn't like rip off the Band-Aid. I would certainly, especially if they got 2 weeks, I would ease into it. Cause that, trust me, it will mess you up after a couple of days. I mean, seriously, it will hurt. You'll be so exhausted. Time zone changes are no joke. They really can mess you up. So I would absolutely ease into it. And if you need to, give up early one day, then I would give up early one day, or, it's the other way, I guess, for them. If you need to, stay up later one day, stay up later that day. But, yeah, I would absolutely ease into it. It can be tough. So.
But I love the idea of using it to your advantage at the very beginning. You can see the fireworks early because it's going to be like watching the fireworks at like 6 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like that's a huge advantage in your thinking. So I love that idea. That's
perfect. I would more ease back like the closer you get to the end of your vacation. So that way you can, be closer to your correct time when you get home. I would absolutely do what Mike said, take it to your advantage at the beginning and just kind of stay up a little later than you normally, or, it's 6 o'clock your time, 9 o'clock their time. So yeah, I would just stay up and watch the fireworks and do that kind of way. Yeah.
Yes. So Scott's in Michigan, so he's in the Eastern time zone like you, Ricky. And one of the things he always raves about the Disneyland races that they no longer have.
Yes.
Is that, when they would have these early morning Disneyland races, since he was from the Eastern time zone, traveling 3 time zones west, like
it's not so bad.
Him. Like he was like raring and rocking to go,
yes.
Like wasn't such a shock to the system because he was, especially if like he traveled out the day before.
Yeah, going backwards is a little bit easier in that regard. Yeah. It's the going forwards, which can be kind of tough. So, or reverse that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Going forwards is a lot easier than going backwards.
He's going to Walt Disney World.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's why Scott's like, I love going west for the races.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like going home for him might be tough.
For the record, I just got to say this because we're done with the questions for today, but I don't know how people on the Eastern time zone, I don't know how you guys watch TV, because the thing is like, if your news starts at 11 o'clock, I would never, before social media, I would never know what was happening in the world because I don't make it to 11 o'clock ever. Like in your ball games that start at like 10 o'clock at night, how do you ever see a sport ever?
I understand. Given that I came from the Midwest and now I'm on the Eastern time zone, it is a weird thing to know, like, okay, my shows are going to start at 8 o'clock and not 7 o'clock. And it does throw me off a little bit because, I get tired and I'm like, oh no, I have to, my show's not over until 11 o'clock at night.
It's crazy.
I'm ready to go to bed now, so.
Like, do people on the East Coast just like stay up all night long? I don't get it. Like, Ron at least says worse for Atlantic time. I can't even imagine. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
because I see those times. I'm just like, man, if a football game starts at 8:15, I would never see the end of the first quarter.
No,
Like,
Brian, half the time he falls asleep. I mean, for sure, he's definitely out before the end. Yeah, the end of the game.
so sad. All right, so this is the Old Fogies podcast. Sorry, we used to be the Young and Hip podcast. Now we're just the old cranky.
Right? Mike's definitely the cranky one.
Totally. All right, we're out of here. We're going to have more questions next Wednesday. So again, if you have a question, Mike at BRGuestPodcast.com. Thanks for all the great questions. Join us next Monday around 5:45 Eastern. You want to jump in live with us? We love that. You can get your questions right to the top of the queue. Don't forget, today's show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney vacation, especially to Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, even Adventures by Disney. Just drop by the magicforless.com today. All the great trip planning tools are right there at your disposal. And while you're there, fill out that free no obligation quote form. We'll take great care of you from there. But just mention the Be Our Guest podcast. It'll come right to my inbox, and we'll be planning that trip right away. And don't forget, they're the best of the best. Platinum earmarked. Not every agency is. We are, and we respect that. We love our guests, and we book a lot of trips, and we get great feedback from our guests. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click really does help us out. I know I say that all the time, but it really does. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thanks to our patrons, you guys allow all this craziness to happen each and every week, 3 times a week, all around the world. So if you'd like to get a bonus show on Thursdays, Mike in the Midwest comes your way. Just visit patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give Ricky a follow right now at Ricky Nibs on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. You can follow the show at Be Our Guest Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube. And if you have a few minutes, and who doesn't have a few minutes? I mean, come on now. Like while you're eating your lunch today at work, or while you're supposed to be working at work and you're doing something else.
Yeah, exactly. That's more like it. Yeah.
Give us a 5-star review. We'd love it on Apple Podcasts, wherever you download the show. It means a lot to us. It helps other folks find the show. It gives us discoverability. When you've been around as long as us, it's hard to stay high in the podcast ratings and charts because those charts are based on kind of the new hotness.
Yes.
And one thing we are not is the new hotness.
New hotness, no.
We are steady as they come. We're steady as they go. But that's not how podcasts are rated. So if you
We're
wouldn't
like
mind,
prunes.
we are. We're like Miralax. We're there. We're there for you. We keep you regular. We're a good friend. We'll keep you steady. Your mind, that's terrible, but give us a rating and a review and do not add that into the comments.
I don't add that we're like prunes, please.
All right. I got to check in on Scott and Ricky, see if they've moved up at least 3 spots there. I think they're up.
You mean Pam? Because I'm here.
Yeah, Ricky's here, Scott and whoever.
Pam.
And yeah, so hopefully they get those buckets by March 3rd, but we'll be checking in with them. But we'll be back in on Friday. We have a fun topic for you that I think is going to be great for everybody because we all get home and we're like, I wish I was still at Walt Disney World, but we're going to make that trip last just a little bit longer for you. So for Scott, Pam, and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to get back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Save that one.
Yay!
Episode. EPI. Nope. EPI. SOD. 2025. Edited. Am I on the right? Dang it. That's not right.
Uh-oh.
I'm not in the right drive. Save as. Episode 2025. Edited. Let me find the right drive here. This PC. Desktop. There we go. Bye, Kate.
Oh, yikes.
On weekend jump shot. I do not do jump shots anymore because Scott made a GIF of me like 5 years ago.
Yes, it's fantastic. I'm sorry nobody else can see it, but it's great.
It's
the doctor got a lot of the chocolate and tinfoil out of the dog, so that's good.
Oh my God, I don't even know how they did that.
Vomiting.
I was just puked.
They're making the dog vomit right now. They said, Brian said she's doing really well, but she's totally vomiting tinfoil. So it's probably good that he took her to the doctor.
Oh my gosh, Tanja, I will let you know about Branson, I love Silver Dollar City. That's really all we did, but Silver Dollar City is amazing. It might be better than the Magic Kingdom.
Okay, it's not, but Mike is.
It is. Dude, I loved Silver Dollar City.
Silver Dollar City is fun.
It is
it's
so
not
good.
Better than the Magic Kingdom.
Real cave. As soon as you go in,
there is a real cave. There is
600 feet under the ground. I mean,
there is.
It is awesome.
There is.
Am I a mumbler? I am a mumbler. I have no jump shots.
No.
So here's what we're doing. I should probably tell you.
Yeah, you should probably tell me what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing.
How to document your trip when you get home, like what to do to remember your trip. So simple things like you could make a book, you could make a slideshow, you could make a blanket, you could make a I did this. I know this is so stupid, but hang on. I mean, just like I put this picture from Memory Maker on my phone. Gotcha. And I know that's so egocentric to do that, right? But it makes me so happy. Like this moment, I've been trying to get a set for 10 years at Walt Disney. Every time I look at my phone, I mean, I'm going to change it soon because I just had to get rid of the Christmas picture because it was past Christmas. But I'm like, dang, I wish I was back there.
I got you.
Put pictures on your phones. So how do you remember that most recent trip? Because Pam made my little collage with my medal the one time.
Yeah.
This could be any trip.
Okay. All right.
Do you do stuff with your maps or your magic bands?
I got you.
Stuff like that.
Okay. I can do this.
Journal. I don't do all that work, but I should.
No, I definitely don't do all that work. All right. We can do this.
That is saying a lot, Tanja. I was down there. I fell in love with Silver Dollar City. I loved it. For the record, Matt Parrish from Wedway, he says it reminds him so much of Disneyland.
I get that.
He says it is Disneyland in the 50s is what Silver Dollar City is. He says
I'll give you that.
Family owned. It's Disneyland in the 50s.
I'll give you that.
That water ride down there is crazy. It's called Mystic River Falls or something.
Oh gosh, I don't remember if I've been on that one.
It's like Thunder River, like you're on one of those.
Oh, then no, I did not.
Like Cali River Rapids, but you go up 7 stories on an elevator.
Yes, I did not do that.
It was insane. And then they have crazy roller coasters. They got one that's based. One of the roller coasters, what Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be based on.
Oh yeah, the time
traveler.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on that thing again. I rode it because Mallory wanted to ride it. I am way too old. That thing was spinning. You're doing loops, but at the same time you're spinning. It's like Primeval World, but going upside down.
Right.
No, because you go straight down 60 feet. I was like, "What am I doing? I'm an idiot."
I don't think you're going. I don't think the Guardians one goes upside down though.
No, I think this one was more intense at Silver.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Crazy. It was nuts.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we go. All right, 226. Welcome to episode 2026 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to, I don't know, is the NFL calling this super wild? No, it's not super wild card weekend anymore. It's just, who knows? Let's just call it Super Podcast Weekend. That's what we're going to do.
I like that. Super Podcast Weekend.
We're going to do. So we are going to have a good time talking Disney today and talking about what to do when you get home from an epic trip. And I'm just back again, still riding the high from Marathon Weekend 2022. Man, was that a great trip. And you guys are making it still awesome by sharing all the posts on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter, just keeping it going. You're fueling my fire. I know Princess is coming up very, very soon for all the runners getting ready to run that weekend. So it's kind of bridging that gap to the next race weekend. But I just love seeing, all these warm weather pictures. We were in shorts. We were complaining about the heat. And right now back in Missouri, it's so cold that it just hurts to be alive when you step out your door. So I'm trying to remember how I was whining because I was too hot. We're going to talk about documenting those trips and making that trip last a little bit longer and how you can kind of keep it alive in your heart and maybe even on your smartphone. So we'll talk about that today. So perfect guest to do that. Her. She's been here since 2008. Ricky, she's from the mouseforless.com, and I bet you there's an article there too on this topic at some point.
Yeah.
What's up, Ricky? Happy Friday.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an article or two about this topic. Yeah. No, I mean, just enjoying. We actually had snow here in Atlanta. I mean, it's gone now, for the most part, but like we had snow here in Atlanta. Now the good thing, it was not Snowmageddon this year because it actually happened on a weekend. So everybody was, home for the most part. They told us to stay off the roads because it's Atlanta and nobody should be driving on the roads here in Atlanta because they don't know how to drive on snow. So we stayed at home. We hung out on Sunday and just had a good time, hot cocoa, movies, whatever. So, but it was pretty because we got to watch it snow. And then the next day it's gone. That's the way I like snow. I'm just saying, like, if I have to live with snow, I like when I can see it for a day and then it goes away. That's the best way. I'm just saying. That's the best way.
Spoken as a true person from the Midwest. We like to have it. As a teacher, I used to love it because it would be like an unexpected day off from school. Weekend snow, total waste of my time.
Right.
Snowstorm that rolls in on a Friday afternoon. Like, who cares? Like, it's just a nuisance. Like, dude, snowstorm that runs in like at a midnight on a Tuesday. Oh, now we're talking, baby. That could be like, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's like God's greatest gift. But yeah, so whatever. So yeah, it's one of those things, though, especially this time of year. I think that, today's topic, we're going to talk about really kind of holding on to those recent trips and documenting them. And I think even just the process, not even having like the final product in hand. I think what it is, it's the process of creating the whatever you're going to do to remember that trip. Just lets us hold on to that trip just a little bit longer. And I think that's what it's all about. I think, because if you think about it as Disney fans, right, you're listening to a Disney podcast right now.
What?
So
this is a Disney podcast?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Probably, if you're listening to our show, chances are you probably listen to more than one Disney podcast. And I think what we all do as Disney fans, and Ricky and I do the same, is that we're just looking to bridge the gap from one trip to the next, right? We're looking for, I was down in January. We're just looking to fill that void until we get to go again. And I think it's really hard, especially this time of the year, if you're from a cold weather climate. I know we have listeners up in Canada. We got a lot of folks up in the north. It's cold even in the south right now. Like Ricky said, they had snow. And I think what we're looking is that escape. Like we want to look back and see, oh man, like the Mike Bankhead. I was looking at his pictures on social media. He's on a cruise.
Yes.
He's killing me, bro.
I know.
My toes are falling off and he's on a cruise. He's in sandals. I mean, he's living the life. I mean, nobody deserves it more than the Bankheads, but killing me anyway. But it's fun to see those pictures, and it's even more fun to reflect on your trip and document your trip and kind of put together some kind of way to remember those trips. So here's the thing. Of course, my most recent trip was my dopey trip back for Marathon Weekend 2022. It's been about 3 weekends ago now. It's going away quickly. But the thing I want to kind of lead this off with is that I am so glad for a race weekend that I had Memory Maker. And I'm not here to try to sell you anything, but I'm telling you what. Memory Maker is such a huge thing for a runner on a race weekend because, again, this weekend I was actually trying to run some of my better times. For one, I didn't have any qualifying times to really get a good placement in future race weekends. So I did want to kind of get a decent time so that I could submit that for the next 2 years. And the thing was, I didn't stop for a lot of pictures on the course. So my only documentation of me being in these races was going to be by the on-course photographers. And I will tell you what, these photographers on course, Marathon Weekend, they did an outstanding job of capturing images. I mean, an outstanding job. I got so many pictures. Not that I'm a great subject. I mean, there were a lot of pictures where I looked like, and my hands were like, I mean, trust me, you get weird, whacked out pictures when you're trying to run.
Yes.
But they're awesome in their own way. They're like, man, I didn't know my face could do that. And my arm should not be bending that way. Like, it's really fun. But every once in a while, like, you'll see the camera coming and you'll smile, you'll fake a smile and you'll get your arms going the right way. So you actually look like a runner and you get some great pictures. Even if you don't, like, I have an annual pass, so that's included. So I had that as part of my deal. So I got all my pictures. But I'm telling you what, even if you have to buy Memory Maker for that weekend, $169 to get these great images, because I remember I had to buy, this was before like Memory Maker included your race pictures. When I ran my first marathon in 2015, Memory Maker wasn't like included in your pictures.
Right.
I paid over $200 just for the one race for my images, and they weren't near as good as they were this past weekend. So I'm just going to lead this off by saying Memory Maker for a race weekend, and even for vacations.
Yeah.
I know it's $169. You have a digital camera in your hand, but man, you cannot get these pictures for a race. Especially, I'm just saying, this isn't going to all be about races, but you don't have somebody like taking your picture like as you're running by, other than the races. So
no, I agree. We did Memory Maker at Disneyland, and it's a little bit different at Disneyland. They have a different packages for options, but I knew I don't go out to Disneyland very often, so I obviously I have an annual pass at Walt Disney World. Of course, Memory Maker's going away as part of that. Don't get me started on that. I hate that they did that, but whatever. But I decided, since I was going to Disneyland, I don't get out there very often, I was going to buy Memory Maker for Disneyland, and I'm so glad I did. I have some fantastic photos that I would have never thought to get. We stopped for every PhotoPass photographer that I basically saw. Every time I saw one, I'm like, babe, let's go. Come on, let's go get our picture taken. And I have some fantastic memories that came from those. So you're right. It's not a Memory Maker show, but I love to have those photos from Memory Maker, because they really do show off, the vacation in a way that I can't do, because I'm the one who'd be taking the picture, or, maybe I hand off my phone occasionally to another person, but, I don't necessarily feel the most comfortable doing that. You never know. So I like having, Disney take my photos for me. So I absolutely agree with you. Memory Maker, it was a no-brainer for me when I went to Disneyland. So, if you're going on a Walt Disney World vacation, Disneyland vacation, whatever, you absolutely should consider Memory Maker. It's totally worth it, I think.
I'm going to ask you too about like ways you like projects you do to remember when you get home, but I just want to throw this in because this kind of made me think about it when you're talking about taking pictures. So if you're taking pictures of, say, like a group or your kids, doing the socially distanced selfie at this point with a character. Here's the thing I've learned over the years. It's not just the pose picture that becomes my favorite.
Right.
Absolutely. Start shooting right away. Like as they approach the character, and as your little kid, or even as like your significant other walks away. Yeah. Because a lot of times it's not the pose picture that's the most fun. It's like that very last image that you would think is like a throwaway image that shows your kid is kind of peeking one last time at Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
As they're kind of almost out the door.
Some of my
on that. Yeah, I like
absolute favorite pictures that I've had, obviously before COVID, were pictures, candid shots of me, meeting characters with princesses or whatever. Those were some of my favorite photos that I've had. So yeah, I agree. Just take those shots throughout the whole entire experience. Don't just do, the pose traditional thing. 100% agree with that.
And so I actually learned that from Mallory, because I'm kind of, I grew up in the film era.
Oh, exactly. I'm still stuck in that too. Yes.
Kind of tight, like with pushing the shutter button.
Yes.
I mean, when she goes to like if I ask her to take a picture of something, like I'm like, okay, I need you to take a picture of me with, something like at a Cardinals game, or, can you take a picture of me in front of the Sam Musial statue?
Right.
Get my camera back, and there's like 78 pictures. I'm like, what are you doing?
Why did you take so many? Yeah.
She's like, because I wanted to make sure I got a good one. I'm like, dude. But I mean, the thing is, like, I can go back in, I can look at them. It doesn't cost me anything to delete them. It costs me no time.
Right.
But the thing is, like, I think it's just that mindset of like, the 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, we definitely grew up in a different time period where like, I gotta savor the picture. I gotta make sure I only got 36 pictures.
Oh, dude, lay off, like easy on the shutter there, man. Those things were $1 a photo back in my day.
Exactly.
Come on. Okay, so I mean, that's the thing. Take a lot, delete,
yes.
But I mean, keep firing till the whole interaction's over. Till you even past when you think it might not be over. Keep going. Okay, so, but I mean, okay, so this whole idea came up for me because I grabbed one of my favorite PhotoPass pictures, and something as simple as just taking a PhotoPass picture of me crossing the finish line here for my half marathon, where I finally, and this was something I've been working for forever, and I got my sub 2 hour half marathon, which I didn't know, because I mean, like let's be honest. Every year I go down, I'm a year older. And I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I mean, I'll be honest. I finally got it. And I had this just look on my face of like, I'm either going to start crying. I'm in pain because I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. But I just like the memory maker person got like a great picture of me crossing the line for once. And I just took that picture and I made it my wallpaper here, because I needed to get rid of my Christmas pictures because the season had gone by. And like for the last week, like it's made me happy just remembering marathon weekend and just the whole deal. Like, like I set a goal and I made it. Like that picture won't be on there very much longer, but it's like, it's made that trip and that moment last beyond just that Saturday of marathon weekend. So, I mean, just taking a picture, making it your wallpaper, making it the background on your phone, whatever it is, that's something that is absolutely super simple, but it's easy to do. And you can keep swapping it out, time and time again. And that picture, that you take those pictures and it lasts for 6 months. You could just cycle through all your vacation pictures on your phone. Okay. So what else, Ricky? How else can we make a trip last longer?
Well, kind of similar with that. I have like a Facebook portal, and it's connected to my Instagram. So, a lot of times I will have, when it turns on, I have it set up so that photos can, go through, cycle through. And so I can see, my recent Disney trips based on that. Which is kind of cool because, I constantly update it because I have the trips, every couple months or so. So I'm constantly seeing different pictures pop up on my portal. But say you don't have that option, but you get like one of those photo albums, or photo, frames that actually you can put the pictures on. I feel like that's a really great idea because then again, your photos can constantly cycle through. You see different ones, from your trip, and maybe have a trip specific one, so that way around your house you don't just need one photo album, you can have multiple photo albums or photo frames like that. So I would have one just cycle through different Disney trips or whatever, and that way you still get the love of Disney. You get to see that, and it's forefront in your mind. You can see it. You can just put it in your family room, which is where my portal is, and I get to see those photos all the time. So that's one of the major things that I do is have that set up so that way I can just see my Disney photos. I'm watching TV and then I glance over and I see, a great memory, which is so fantastic. So, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I took that picture, which is always a fun thing to find.
And two, the funny thing is like, again, I'm looking at it from way back when, right? I remember back when digital, photos were, kind of still emerging, right?
Yes.
When I worked at Space Camp, we got digital cameras. And I taught at Space Camp in the summers of 2002 and 2003. And I remember they gave us digital cameras because as the instructors in the program, we each got a team of 16 teachers. We had them for a week and they went through these programs. It started at 6:30 in the morning. We had breakfast. And we had the teachers until 11 o'clock at night. That's when the day was over. I mean, this was an intense program.
Yeah.
And I was living there, so I worked doubles. So I worked with my team from 6:30 until 11. And you got like an hour off in the middle of the day for lunch and stuff. And the thing was, like, you got these, they were like remember the camera? You probably don't remember. You're going to be, but it was that digital camera that had the 3.5-inch floppy disk.
I do. Maybe not 3.5-inch floppy disk. I don't know.
It was like a little square floppy disk. You slid it in the side and held about 20 pictures. And so we had like tons and tons of pictures, but our whole role was we had to take pictures of our teams, like, because we did them in the Helo Dunker at the lake. They did this, survival training at the lake, and they did the simulated space missions in the Space Center, and we had classes. I mean, we did all kinds of stuff. We went to the club one night over at the Marriott. We even took pictures there. But the thing that was a non-sanctioned space camp.
Yeah.
And the thing was, the teachers didn't know. It's like, well, with the camera. But every week at graduation on Sunday, Saturday night, we'd stay up late. We'd make a slideshow, and we'd show all the greatest hits of like the week, of all the teachers doing all the fun stuff. And the thing is that, I used to do that with all my Walt Disney World vacation photos. And this was so much work. But the thing was, it was one of those things that was work, but it was joy, right? Because
Right.
you spent like, 2 weeks putting together like the perfect frame on your PowerPoint presentation and the transitions. And, you would put like the date of, okay, this was Magic Kingdom Day. This was day one. We went to the
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom. We put title slides and everything. And the thing was, yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was also fun in the whole process of putting it together because you got to relive the trip. Here's the thing though. All that said, 2022, all you really have to do at this point now is back up your photos to Google Photos.
That was exactly my next suggestion.
Dude, it happens automatically, almost instantly. Just tie your, and it's a good thing to do anyway. If somebody jacks your phone for some reason,
That's exactly going to be my next suggestion.
I mean,
Yes.
you're going to only lose like the 5 minutes of your photos. You're probably going to have everything else. They're going to be on the cloud. And it's it's dirt cheap. Like I paid like $2.99 a month for like 2 terabytes. It's ridiculous how cheap Google Backup is. But the thing is, here's the thing: Google Photos has all this AI stuff, and like you'll get like these weird animations where like if you do a portrait photo, all of a sudden like it'll zoom in on you, like in the background will move, and you'll have like ripples on the water, and then it'll make slideshows. And here's the thing: like I've been doing this now for like almost 20 years, so every day I'll get like especially this time of year, like over the last like week, it'll say 7 years ago, and it'll show or 4 years ago, and it'll show like the weekend of Marathon Weekend where the half was rained out, and it shows us all running the races together. And it's just, you don't even have to make the slideshows anymore because Google does it for you. But the thing is, like you said, with your portal, is it brings back all these great memories every morning. And the thing is, like, I'm always shooting Scott. Hey, remember this one? Hey, remember we were singing at Coronado Springs at Maya Grill, and there's the guy. He did this today. There's the smooth jazz guy in the background. He's always there, like playing smooth jazz. And the thing is, like, you don't even have to put in the work anymore in like the AI of today because of Google Photos. Right there, the memory lives on. And like these trips never die. You get, especially if you have kids, like, I see Mallory and Emily and all these vacations that we traveled together. They were like little girls, and now they're like young women. It's crazy to see.
No, that was going to be 100% my next suggestion is make sure you back up your photos on whatever your favorite backup site is, whether it's Google Photos, which tends to be what I use, Dropbox, whatever. Just make sure you back up those photos because the last thing you want to do is have something happen to your phone and, whether you lose it or it, completely breaks or, whatever. And then your photos are gone and that's all you had, and actually I'm so particular about it that I not only back up on, and this takes me forever and I really shouldn't, it's way more work than it should be, but I want to make sure I don't lose anything. I will then download them off of Google Photos, and then I will put them on an external hard drive.
Okay, so you do go, you're like the nuclear option, which everybody probably should do, but I mean, I'm just, at this point, I trust the cloud. And you should also probably, if you think about it, if you have Amazon Prime, if you're a Prime member, you get free backup to Amazon. So you could actually go to different clouds, or
you could do different options. I'm so worried that I'm going to lose something. I want to make sure I have it. So I started doing it on my computer and then realized quickly, even though my computer is a terabyte, like that's not enough. So I literally bought a 4 terabyte, external hard drive. And then I just started putting them on there. Now, actually, I have 2 external hard drives, one for just for my Disney trips and one for, my other stuff. And, I'm so crazy. I might actually buy another external hard drive to put all those same pictures on just because I'm so worried I'm going to lose it. And then once it's gone, it's gone. And see, it happened to me. It happened to me one time with a computer. I had like a computer. Now, this was back in the day, back in the early 2000s. And, I had a computer. It was back in the day where you downloaded music off LimeWire, and so like I definitely got like viruses on that computer.
Yeah, that is Ricky Niblett, not Mike Ross.
I haven't done that in a long time ago. But like the viruses I got on that computer, but I lost all the photos that I had on that one because that one just it's gone. So, I ever since that moment, like I've been so vigilant about making sure that I have my photos not only backed up, but backed up and then backed up on that. So that's like my biggest, like, I'm so scared about it. So, that was me agreeing with you on that. But another option that I've definitely done in the past is I have taken, now granted, I haven't done it in a while and I should totally do this again. I've done photo books, where, there's lots of different options where you can do a photo book. Shutterfly is, what I used to use. At the time, it was not an easy process, which is why I think I haven't done it lately. Like, I think it's gotten way easier over time. But you could easily make, your photo album with the photos, and, the plug and play, that kind of thing with it. So they make it super simple now, way more simple than what I used to do. So that kind of is another option for you. So that way you have the photo books. Again, you have a documented version of your trip. And then you can show that off, through time too. Another option as well that I've done is I'll have a calendar, that I make, again, you can do it through those, photo book making companies. And then that way, I have that calendar up and I can see, different vacation, photos that have, come throughout the years. Actually, one of my favorite calendars that I've ever had was actually sent to me by a listener. I think it might've been Jennifer. And yes, I love that calendar. I may or may not still have that up, and it's like 2018 or something stupid like that. Like, it's really old, but I love that. And it's, I change it every month, even though the dates are wrong. But I like seeing like the pictures.
Around in 2038 or something. Yeah.
I mean that calendar is going to be up on my wall literally for all that time. But like, I love that calendar. And because it has all the different pictures of the people that I love. So like, I have it up all the time, even though it's completely outdated.
I remember that calendar because we had no idea who it came from. We were like arguing.
Yes, I know it's from somebody. We told the three of us completely argued with each other, like, who sent this?
This calendar is awesome. Who made this and who sent this? And we kept accusing each other. Like,
we did keep accusing each other of making the calendars. Yes. So thanks, Jennifer. We all still are questioning who made this calendar.
I still remember that we were accusing each other. Like, it was a big old controversy within like a big text message forever.
It was. I love the calendar. It's still up on my wall.
That was. I forgot about that. We were accused. I remember like we had everybody like our significant others were all doing research. We're looking at like return dresses. It was crazy.
It was.
So Tanja says that Shutterfly is now super easy. Because I remember, okay, so I used to make those books too back when I was like, I was a better person. Like every summer when we get home, I would make a book, and we have like 5 of them.
Yes.
It was like the summer Walt Disney World trip. And the thing is, like, this is what I'm talking about though. Like those books, they're so much better than digital images because they would sit on the bookshelf in the living room. And like when you just were sitting there, like in the easy chair, I've thumbed through that book probably 1,000 times. Like, it's just fun just to go through. And I would love to have, I just got lazy. Here's the thing.
I got lazy. Agreed. Yeah.
Digital has become so easy. I mean, we keep saying this, like Google's made it easy. And I mean, how many images do we have now compared to like, okay, if I look at my trips from like 2007, compared to like 2022, I bet you I take 10 times more pictures now.
Oh yeah.
Because I take pictures of anything that moves, like especially food. Anything goes in my mouth, I got a picture of. It's stupid. I don't need to. I just do. Like there's something wrong with my brain. But the thing is, like, I don't do anything with those pictures. They just pretty much live like on the cloud. I mean, I see them, like I've said, like they pop up like as a memory. I get an email, I get a notification on my phone, but I still miss like the tangible book, or like you said, the calendar, or like for Christmas we made my mother-in-law like a blanket with photos on it. Like how cool is it? You take your top 20 pictures from your marathon weekend trip and make a blanket out of it. Get it at Walgreens. They're not even expensive.
Yeah, I know they're not.
Wrap yourself in all your memories from marathon.
wrap yourself in memories. I like that. That should be the slogan.
I mean, they're good memories. I mean, who knows? But, also Jessica says Snapfish is also very easy. I know that's another option for like uploading your photos and buying like mugs and, bumper stickers if you want to do that. I don't know, whatever they have.
Right.
Just, like Alfred said earlier, he keeps a journal and he journals every day of his trip and then, puts photos with it. That's a lot of work. But I mean, the thing is, here's what it's all about. I mean, I always told my students this. I feel terrible, like my sixth graders. The more work you put into it, the better the project's going to be on the other end. Like you're going to enjoy the project more on the completed end if you put more work into it on the front end.
And that's kind of the great thing too about the projects is it does help you prolong the trip too. Like it allows you to relive it and enjoy it in different ways. How we like to do the planning part on the front part, but apparently me and you both really feel at doing the back end of it. The same thing can be true for the back end though. You can have just as much fun doing that part of the process and then reliving the trip and enjoying the trip by creating a book or creating, some sort of like blanket, wrapping yourself in the memories or, doing like a journaling like Alfred. I used to do that back in the day with obviously when I was on WDW Magic. I would write up those trip reports of every single trip that I took. I'd write down notes and then I'd write up the trip report when I got home. And that was part of enjoying and reliving the trip too, was writing those trip reports. Now, obviously times have changed. We don't necessarily do those kinds of things on message boards and stuff like that, but hey, guess what you can do? You can be on the Our Guest podcast on a Monday show and relive your trip that way. So
right now, if you ask me, it'll be in July, but hey,
that's okay. You can still be on an episode of the Our Guest podcast and, relive your trip that way too. So, I mean, that's what the whole point of this show was based off of, was those trip reports. And, it's obviously morphed a little bit over, the past, 14 years, almost 15. Is that right?
It'll be 14 years.
Yeah, 14. Oh, almost 14. That's what it is. Okay. So time has definitely changed. But that's what this show is based off of, was the, telling of the trip reports. So writing the trip reports, that kind of thing. So there's always great ways of sharing. When I first started doing this show, I would grab park maps and paper paraphernalia, tickets, whatever. And I would put all those, I still have them. I would put all of them in those protective sleeves in a binder. And, I would buy the thick, 3-inch, 5-inch binder, whatever, put all those things in there. I mean, those suckers are heavy. I have them from the past, I put in multiple trips worth. But I'd save all the paper and everything and just put them in there. And that way I'd, be able to have them in the future. I obviously don't do that as much anymore because I'm going a little bit more than I did back then. But I still have those memories and I still have those things that I get to keep and look at in the, in the future and be like, hey, remember when Disney used to do this? So, that was kind of nice too.
I think that's kind of how it changes too. When you get to start going a little bit more than you used to, because I used to only get to go once every summer. Because it's, now it's my job and now we have the podcast. It's just, it's a bigger part of my life, right? I used to not do anything, Disney was a smaller part of my life, but I still loved it. I was crazy obsessed about it, but only, the summer was all I got to do. And,
right.
Cause I'm a school teacher and I did a bunch of other stuff, but now this is my full-time job and it's the podcast and everything. So I get to go more often. I think that kind of,
it does change things.
Because instead of, obsessing over the past trip, you start looking to the next trip and it's not so far away.
It's not so far away. Yeah.
You're almost in a continuous planning mode instead of reflecting on the past trip. Even though I'm in this, I don't have a trip plan for the summer. I don't know what I'm doing quite yet. We may try Disneyland. We may go back to World. Who knows? Because we don't have annual passes. I do, but the girls don't. So it's it's an opportunity to maybe swap up some things. So I've been kind of reflective, and I really had a great marathon weekend. Not that they're not all great, but this one, the weather was perfect. I felt good running. It was just. There were so many great lizards. It was just everybody was everything. I didn't have any. There was no drama down it. Everybody was happy. It seemed like it was just a really, really, really good January trip. Great marathon weekend. So I've been really reflective over it since I've been home, and so that kind of brought this topic. But the thing is, I think what it is too is that, it doesn't even necessarily have to be looking back at your photos or Tanja even said she does almost the same thing. Where did she put it? I had it up here on the screen just a second ago, but she kind of does the same thing where she remembers, there it is. She says she used to, here it is. She used to use the autograph book to add the character photos, the meals and other random shots, then decorate with washi tape. I don't know what that is. And other decorative stickers. So she
That's
would kind
great.
of do
Yeah.
the same thing as you, like where you would keep artifacts and stuff. Here's the one thing that I've been doing over the past like year to two. Like I go back at my old guidebooks. I mean, like guidebooks from
Yeah.
like 2006, 2007. I even have this one book. It was a guidebook kind of thing. It was called the Passporter. Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
that? Like,
yeah. I remember Passporter. Yeah.
well, the Passporter was this like guidebook slash pocket guide. Like it had a bunch of pockets in it. So you, like if you made notes, you could, or if you had like remember Triptychs by
Oh
AAA?
yeah.
If you had any kind of like receipts or anything or any kind of documentation, it had pockets. It had like little places you could jot notes down. Even though like this isn't something that has like a lot of photos or anything, I like to go back into like my old guidebooks from like 2007, 2008. And I like to look at not only what was happening in the parks at that time, because it's kind of fun to look back at those times, but also I put a lot of notes in the margins and stuff like that in dog-eared pages. I like to see like, what was I dog-eared? And like, what were the goals of that trip back then? So different, you know, like it's just, even if you're not looking at your specific trip, to look at the resources you used. And like you said, artifacts you might have brought home, you know, old park guy, you know, maps and stuff like that, because wow. Things are so different in the last 15 years.
This is true. I like what Jennifer says too. She says, make a blog and set it to private. Journal when you have time and get it printed. She says she's made these for her daughter, which I think is a really great option as well. You know, that you don't have to have a blog on public. I know I've always had a blog on public, but you know, you don't have to. And you can actually, you know, keep, it's kind of like journaling or diary, you know, in a way too. So that's an option as well. You know, and then I know that you can share those blogs with just certain people. You know, if you want family members to see it, you can do it that way too. You know, that they have to have a login to get into it. But that's, you know, kind of a great idea as well. So
it's a great way too. I mean, again, I guess once a teacher, always a teacher, but especially for kids and, you know,
have them, you know, go back and
when you can find a topic that they're passionate about, writing isn't so hard all of a sudden. Like, you know, put 1,000 words on a page is a lot easier talking about, you know, what was your favorite thing, or, you know, explain to somebody why you enjoy going to Walt Disney World, you know, like if you got to talk about, you know, some historical topic that's kind of no fun for them, it's a lot more of a challenge.
And even have them journal their own, you know, experience, because you may find different things, you know, they may have enjoyed different things that you wouldn't have expected. You know, I know that happens a lot of times where you were talking to Mallory or something like that. And, you know, something that you didn't think would ever imprint on her, it was something that, you know, she totally remembers. So that could be something, you know, that, you know, a child would enjoy doing as well, you know, just getting that out there and telling their story. And then it's good kind of family bonding as well.
Okay. All this being said, I wanted to ask you this because, this is going to go out to a subsection of our audience as we wrap this show up here on a Friday. And since, you know, Pam and Scott are still in line to get the popcorn buckets, they've now moved. They're up by the Odyssey at this point.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
And good news, they're going to get their popcorn buckets March 1st.
That's good.
Moved in line to this. So they will have a little dragon with pop kernels to eat here in the next 45 days. But here's the deal. You remember Beta Mouse podcast, right?
Of course.
Little podcast about the merging of Disney and technology. I'm just saying this because I like Dr. Kai's birthday was last week.
Yes.
I love Dr. Kai.
Yes.
He's probably my favorite
He's
Arkansanian of all time.
Arkansanian. Okay, good.
I don't even know if that's what they're called.
I don't know.
I do love Dr. Kai.
Dr. Kai is amazing. And so is his daughter.
Yeah, absolutely. Ella's awesome.
Ella's awesome.
Here's the thing. And she wants me to have like a Be Our Guest prom kind of thing, like where I DJ, everybody dance, do a live show. I would love to do that. We'd have to find a venue that isn't $1 million an hour at Disney.
Right,
but I would
exactly.
But I mean, the reason we stopped having private events is because Disney kind of priced us out of renting private space.
Correct. This is true.
But I would love to do that. Anyway, off topic. Back to Beta Mouse. That was probably Dr. Kai's favorite show. I love Beta Mouse too. It was a great show. It was awesome for the time. Like it was this merging of technology and Disney. And I mean, everything was changing so fast. It was the perfect show for the perfect time. I loved it. It had to go away because Henry got a big job with Disney and so forth.
Yes.
Okay, but here's the thing. Henry's thing. You remember what his thing was?
Yes. Floating orb.
The orb. Yes. The floating orb. Okay, so I'm glad you remember that. Just totally did not ask you about this before the show. But
You did not.
I'm so glad you remember because that's what
I remember the floating orb. Yes.
Henry Work who was the host of this show, who now is an Imagineer for Disney. I believe he's an Imagineer. He's an Imagineer, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he's an Imagineer or if he's just in their, IT department, but he definitely does some awesome things with Disney.
We'll say he's an Imagineer. If he's not, who cares? It just, we gave him a promotion. Anyway, and he always had the coolest voice. I just remember I have this, I'm gonna have to play that little, I gotta find that little segment. I have somebody cool coming on. Like, he had the coolest voice. Anyway, so he always talked about like the ultimate thing was gonna happen with Disney, where one day Disney's gonna have this floating orb.
Yes.
That follows you around on your vacation.
Yes.
And just like, basically it's, and again,
it's completely documenting your vacation. Yes.
100%. Like, it's just shooting video of you the whole time, photos. It's just like, it's like a photojournalistic look of your vacation. Like, you don't even know it's there anymore. You just kind of ignore it, but it takes all these candid shots. It's there like as you're, just kind of sitting down, chit-chatting before a fireworks show, but it's also getting the big moments too. And then you go home and you have all these, like, you just have like a, like a camera crew following you 24/7 on a Disney vacation. Really what it is almost, they have these like little drones, that could actually do this for like little spurts. But I mean, okay, so probably not going to happen.
Well, not with as many people as there are at Walt Disney World. No.
But I mean, think about this though. Like, when this show started, like, magic bands weren't a thing yet. Remember, they called them like magic bracelets.
Yeah, like, something like that. Yeah.
Special bracelets. But then all of a sudden, magic bands, and I mean, we're like post magic band almost at this point. Like,
we got Magic Band Plus.
You're right. I mean, they're so, like, you don't even think about them anymore.
Yeah.
So what as far as something like this, I mean, could something like this happen? I mean, as we close this out, I mean, for a premium, like, could you pay at some point? Are there going to be magic orbs maybe in the next decade? Like, could you have some kind of a thing floating around documenting your entire trip?
Gosh, I just think it would be not feasible. Like, I think it would be really great. I just think, I don't know how feasible it would be because you'd have so many people getting in so many other people's shots. So I don't know that it would actually work out, but yeah, it would be cool.
It would be so cool. And I mean, the thing is, like, there were so many things they talked about on Beta Mouse that I was like, they might happen. And a lot of them did. And they just have become an essential part of your vacation. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah. When I think about how many pictures you come home with now, if you'd have asked me 20 years ago,
this is true.
You're going to come home with 2,000 shots from your week's vacation.
Right. No.
You are crazy.
Well, again, we were both on film still at that point, basically. So,
the thought of today, you're exactly right. The thought of an orb, like doing like some photojournalistic look at your vacation. Like, I still say right now, you're just absolutely insane. Like, dude, there can't be that many little orbs floating around shooting video of you like willy-nilly all the time. Like, what? But you know what? It could happen. Like, the
only thing that I worry about is like privacy concerns with other people, and like that's the only thing I worry about. But I could see it. It's just it would be so a lot.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be like, but you gotta watch what you're saying, though.
Exactly. You gotta watch what you're saying.
Exactly. Like,
that's for sure.
You've definitely turned off between like 6 and 8 a.m. and then like anything after 10 o'clock p.m.
It's off limits.
Everything has to be off until like I get some Coke Zero of me in the morning. That could be. How do you think about that? That could be dangerous. Yeah,
it could be extremely dangerous. People would say they forget, and they'd say something they shouldn't.
Right, because I was thinking
it would probably be me. Because I
was thinking that'd be so cool because you totally forget it's there. Get all these like little, small moments of your vacation. Like, oh, how cute is that? You went and got the waffle from Sleepy Hollow.
Exactly.
It dribbled all down your chin. It's all over your shirt. Oh, that's so funny. But then you're like, because it just ruined my $78 hoodie.
My stupid shirt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that wouldn't go very well. No. There might be expletives in this instead of the word stupid, so.
You might just have to put that orb idea on the shelf, Henry.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Well, just ways to document your trip. And the whole thing is, I think if you have a good Disney vacation, I think for the most part, we're all Disney fans at heart. We love the place. And there's bad things that happen sometimes, negative things. Sometimes you got to wait forever for a bus, and sometimes
a 7-hour popcorn bucket. I mean,
exactly. You're doing that to yourself, folks. Sorry. But the thing is, like, when you get home, you're going to remember the good times. And I think we want to document it. We want to hold on to that trip just a little bit longer. So this weekend, as you're out there, and if you've we've struck any ideas for you and we haven't mentioned them, please let me know on social media or Ricky at Ricky Nibs at Be Our Guest Mike. Let us know. We'll retweet those because I'm always looking for ways to just document that trip, to make that trip last a little bit longer and maybe to share that trip with other folks. So just let us know and give us some ideas. How do you hang on to that trip and document it and just, kind of keep it alive. So maybe 10 years down the road, you can remember that special trip in 2022 to Walt Disney World. It's fun stuff, Ricky. And I knew you'd be good as you're a documenter.
I may or may not document a lot. A lot of food, a lot of stupid things. Yeah, I document a lot of stuff.
We do. Yes. All right. Well, don't forget today's show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan the next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip this weekend right now. Travel agents are standing by. Drop by themagicforless.com, fill out that free, no obligation quote form. And if you mention the Be Our Guest podcast, we'll take great care of you right away. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click means a lot to us. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who allow us to put this show out 3 to 4 times a week, each and every weekend. And just so you know, we may do a live call-in show this Sunday night. Watch the social media. I think I'm going to be home. I think Scott's going to be home, and I think we can take your calls. Can't promise you anything, but I think we can. I'm finally going to be home for a Sunday night. It's been forever where it's not been a holiday, so we'll see what we can do. So watch the social media for Sunday night. We'd love to take your calls. If we do, it'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. I forgot the time, but it'll be on the Facebook and the YouTube pages. So check out the social media for that. Of course, ratings and reviews wherever you download the show, those are always appreciated. And again, follow Ricky at Ricky Nibs. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. We'll see you on the social. We'll be retweeting all those great ideas. All right, we're going to be out of here, and we will check back in again on Monday with an awesome trip report. I believe we're talking with Marlessa, and she's recapping her first ever Run Disney experience. She did the 10. I think she did the 5K and the half.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what she did. And she rode in a minivan with Scott, Elizabeth, and myself. So that's an experience in itself right there to get the trip started. So we are going to talk about that on Monday. But until we get back together then, for Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All righty, Sneezy McCheesy.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, and that entire time, Brian got the dog back from the vet. So, yeah.
And 2 pounds lighter.
Yeah, she threw up a lot. So, that's good.
But it came out the other end, but that's just...
Anyway, I will talk to you later because I'm going to go talk to him about what happened with the dog. So, I'll see you later.
I know, so you don't have to tell me. All right, see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.